Welcome back to the Eerie Files. If you're new here, know that we blend the true and the profoundly strange, using history to confront the unexplainable present. Just the other day, I was out walking with my dog, Hawk, watching her behave strangely on the trail. Sometimes she's sniffing so hard on the ground she'll completely miss a deer standing right there, 10 feet away. But then she'll stop, her nose goes way up, and she smells something weird. Something that shouldn't be there. A scent that's not of this world. This odd behavior makes you wonder what subtle, unseen energies are affecting our lives. Before we dive into the missing persons cases, I want to talk about that weird factor, the historical reality of UFOs. Many people think UFOs are just a recent phenomenon, something tied to post-war technology. That is absolutely untrue. I'm going to show you evidence that suggests whatever these craft are, they've been observing us for a very, very long time. This is chronologically documented observation. Consider the painting of the crucifixion of Jesus, dating back to circa 1350 from Yugoslavia. In the upper corners, two distinct objects, looking strikingly like modern depictions of craft, hover. One object appears to be projecting a beam or a column of light down toward the ground, a direct energy transfer. Why would an artist include such specific, non-traditional shapes in a sacred work unless they were reflecting a known, documented sighting? This observation is chronic. Look at other 14th century religious art where we find close-up images of figures seemingly piloting crafts through the air. These aren't just clouds or angels. The structure suggests manufactured flight. The most compelling example might be the Annunciation of Saint Emitius from 1486. Here, a distinct, rounded object is positioned high above the scene, shining a concentrated ray of light down onto the building below. Art historians debate the meaning, but ufologists see an unmistakable record of aerial surveillance. This pervasive presence in ancient art tells us that this ancient anomaly is systemic, not accidental. It forces us to ask, were these artists unknowingly documenting the first true instances of aerial contact? We study history to avoid making the same mistakes, and that means we must approach modern phenomena with a critical, educated mind. Some of you want pure entertainment, but the Eerie Files is about education. We must think critically about programs like Skinwalker Ranch. The phenomena they document, the energy signatures, the sudden, localized translocations, they are not scripted performances. They are symptoms. These men are dealing with uncharted ground, facing a reality that warps physics and logic. If the past holds clear evidence of ancient craft, then the present may be suffering from the same systemic, non-human interference. Let's transition to a modern example of that systemic problem, the terrifying subcategory of missing mushroom pickers. This takes us to the high-strangeness of Oregon, near the infamous Crater Lake National Park wilderness. This entire zone is saturated with documented disappearances where people vanish, leaving their camps completely intact. I was told a chilling story by a government worker from Crater Lake who had witnessed Bigfoot encounters there. He recounted a repeated incident involving pack horses. On two separate occasions within a year, an individual riding in a narrow pass had been violently pushed off their horse. The witness described a large, hairy hand emerging from the thick foliage, about 8 feet high, quickly shoving the rider to the ground. This isn't just an animal interaction. It's a display of intelligent, malicious, and selective force. I believe these Bigfoot sightings and behaviors in such zones are connected to the spatial instability. They may act as territorial guardians, or perhaps they too are victims of the environmental stress caused by a fluctuating dimensional rift or portal system. This is the unsettling backdrop for the disappearance of Gerald Severson, 56, who vanished on May 2, 2023. After going out for mushrooms near Lake of the Woods. Gerald was an experienced outdoorsman who should have been back in an hour. An intensive search failed to find him, even with aerial support and canines. Then, nearly a month later, an anonymous tip led to a shocking discovery. Clothing matching Gerald's was found 8 to 10 miles west of the initial search grid. There was no explanation, no trail, for how a non-injured person could have crossed that terrain unnoticed. This is the UFO disappearance profile. A sudden, rapid, unexplainable translocation of a person or their items, suggesting a temporary time travel mystery or instantaneous physical displacement via an anomalous force field. Our focus shifts north to a region I consider ground zero for high strangeness: northern Michigan. This area is steeped in cryptid lore and linked to historic UFO disappearances. Remember the famous case where an Air Force jet scrambled to find a UFO over Lake Superior and vanished forever? This whole area is ultra-odd. This is where Rodney Grandroth, a 71-year-old lifetime hunter, disappeared on November 17, 2016, from his own family farm in Portage. He knew that land intimately. He could walk it in the dark. Rodney left on the 16th, expecting to be home the next night. His son found his truck but immediately noticed the chilling detail. Rodney's rifle case was empty, and his hunting clothes were gone. He had gone into the woods. An extensive volunteer search followed, involving the U.S. Coast Guard with FLIR, multiple highly trained canine teams, and drones. Despite the intensity, they found nothing. No scent trail, no tracks, and critically, none of the non-biodegradable items like his rifle, boots, or even his glasses were ever recovered. Rodney falls into the major subgroup of hunters, people who intentionally go off-trail, alone, into remote areas. This is not a coincidence. I believe the same non-human intelligence responsible for the ancient craft is selectively targeting individuals in these high-energy zones. They seek out the alone, the ones with specialized survival knowledge. The lack of any recovered items for Rodney, even after 8 years, suggests not just a disappearance but an alien abduction where both the victim and their tools were taken. The ground literally swallowed the evidence because the individual stepped across a reality seam. We are dealing with a phenomenon that warps our understanding of history and physics, from ancient European paintings to a remote Michigan farm. I beg of you to remain patient and critical as we explore this together. While we search for answers, remember this: we are all just here trying to live our lives. I was with Hawk the other day, and we had a great moment with some young people who just wanted to pet her soft head. That moment of shared goodwill was great. Kindness is free. Smiling at somebody, opening a door for them, it costs nothing. In the meantime, be kind, be safe, and be polite out there.